Right. 29 September 2024. And today I'm going to be giving you my update for this Sunday. And this is a very interesting update because we're talking about my most favorite topics: assassinations, guns, chasing, and near-death experiences. So this is becoming common in Zimbabwe, that army generals are missing death by a whisker or are finding themselves at National Heroes Acre after being somehow killed. So today we're going to be looking at the assassination attempt on Engelbert Rugeje. Is a major general and one of the most qualified army generals in Zimbabwe. So this story is being carried in the Standard newspaper, and Rugeje is a very, very qualified army general coming from Harvard. He's educated outside of Zimbabwe and is on retirement. He became the major general in the Zimbabwe National Army. In 2020, 7 men attacked Rugeje's house in Mount Pleasant, and one of them was killed. At the time, it was reported that one of the men who was killed attacking Rugeje's house had a ZANU-PF card. So I carried that story back then, and I'm going to play a snippet. However, Rugeje on Thursday last week escaped an assassination attempt when the front wheel of his vehicle here came off as he was driving. So the vehicle totally came out, which is odd. And as you know, these vehicles are serviced by the CMED, or the government agency that is responsible for servicing generals' cars. My understanding is that most generals are no longer sleeping at their homes, and they only go there once in a while to check. And Rugeje was on one of these things, of these missions, to go and check at his house at night when this accident happened. So the death, or the near death, the near death of Rugeje comes soon after the attempt on Comrade Bombshell. So this is Rugeje here, and he is, as I said, one of the most qualified generals or former generals in the Zimbabwe National Army. He used to be the chief of staff of the Zimbabwe National Army, and he also became a political commissar for ZANU-PF. This followed the attempt on Comrade Bombshell here last week, which we talked about, when a group of men, 10 men, attempted to shoot him dead with machine guns in Harare. So there is speculation that someone is trying to kill the generals, and not only the past generals have died, but currently my sources have told me that there is a list of 8 generals which was known as people who were supposed to be killed, and 7 of the 8 people on that list have died. So I do not know who is the 8th person who has not died. But now that we know that Rugeje survived an assassination, that means he's one of them, and also Comrade Bombshell is one of them. And my understanding is that General Chiwenga is also on that list. So General Chiwenga is on that list of people to be assassinated. And what is going to happen is, if that plan goes through, according to my sources, so those are my sources, I'm not the one who came up with this story, there is going to be a replacement of General Chiwenga with Mabo Chinomona. So this is what I have been told is the plan. Mabo Chinomona is currently the Speaker of the Senate of Zimbabwe, and I do not know her qualifications, but I know that she's heavily aligned to Idi Mnangagwa. However, the most senior woman currently in Zimbabwe, among all the women and among all the war veterans, according to my other sources, is Monica Mavunga. So Monica Mavumba is probably not going to become your vice president, because obviously I don't think she has the necessary connections, but she is the most senior woman right now. And by right, she should be the next in line if General Chiwenga was to be eliminated. However, Mebo Chinomona is seen as someone who is going to come next if General Chiwenga and the generals are defeated. So the plan is the generals are on one side, the army with General Chiwenga and Mnangagwa and his crew are on the other side. As I've been saying over the past few weeks, we're going to see a lot, and the things that you're going to see are going to be extremely unheard of. People are going to drop, and you cannot go into the office of Zimbabwe president with like a button. This thing is not handed over to you. You have to take it. And there has never been a transition in ZANU-PF where one president gave the other one the presidency. It's always the other president takes out the last president. So the guys who are in, they already know that they're going to be taken out. And the guys who are coming, they already know that they are known, that they want to come in. So there's going to be a massive problem. We're going to face something that we've never seen. And I've been saying it over the past few months. However, I want to take you back to the past. So this is me here. I remember in 2020, do you see how I used to look? I used to have a beard, and I was covering the story on the attack on General Engelbert Rugeje's house, where 7 men attempted to assassinate Rugeje at his house, and the soldiers repelled them. So I want to show you what I said at the time. This is what we call back to the future. You know, like when you go back to the future. I want to see myself 5 years ago. Don't you guys wish you could see yourself 5 years ago? I have the privilege of being able to see myself 5 years ago. So let's see what I said that time.
He's a very qualified person, a strategist. So he's not someone that you can say he was just fired from ZANU-PF and he's going to go away. I want to show you his qualifications here. Rugeje was removed, obviously, as I said, in June 2019. But I want to show you his qualification. Rugeje is the former chief of staff of the Zimbabwe National Army. Rugeje was promoted to Brigadier General in 1990 and became quartermaster of the Zimbabwe National Army. In the mid to late 1990s, he was actively involved in the DRC mission, in which he led successful counter-insurgents missions. He graduated from Lancaster University with both a Master of Defense and Strategic Studies degree and a Master of Laws degree. Major General Rugeje also holds a Master of Business Administration from Harvard University.
Right, so I just wanted you guys to see, Kuti, in the past 4 years, I have not changed much. In spite of near-death experiences, I still look almost the same, minus the beard. Plus, I've lost weight. I look better now than I looked that time. So this is what has happened. There has been a massive attempt on Rugeje, one of the generals, or the top generals, former generals in Zimbabwe. As you are aware, over 60 generals have died since the coup in Zimbabwe. We've given you a list. This year alone, over 8 generals have died, and I've also provided you the list. There's great fear among the generals that they're being taken out one by one, and the person who's taking them out is currently active. that person is active, trying to take out more generals. And as I said, my source is saying Mebo Chinomona here earmarked to take over as vice president of Zimbabwe if the plan goes through. So that is what I've been told by my sources. So we're going to be obviously following that story. Rugeje has been asked about the story by the newspaper called the Standard newspaper, and he did not deny the story. He just said to them, who told you? And ZANU-PF has not said anything. There's been no announcement. And obviously they're going to say it was just an accident, that the wheel just came off and flew off from the car. But we know what happened. Someone unhooked something, so that as you go to a certain speed, that's how this assassination works. I was talking to one of the army guys, and he said to me, there is a cream that they use, and this cream comes from Russia. what they do is they spray it inside your tires. And this thing is done in such a way that when you reach a certain speed for a certain time, your wheel will just blow up. So it will crumble like a piece of dry ice. That is how this thing works, according to the guys who were talking to me last year. So this is another possibility, but you can clearly see that here, this thing came off, the whole thing came off. And I suspect that that kind of cream could have been used, but you can also see that the rim is not there here on this car. So it's probably not that way. They would have used another method to take him out. But that is one of the other ways that they use to assassinate people at high speed. So when you hear that someone's tire was shot off, it's most likely that that cream was applied inside their tires. And as they reached a certain high speed, the tire would then blow up by itself and disintegrate and to look like someone shot the tire. And these are many, many methods of assassination. Comrade Bombshell, they had that assassination attempt where one comes to the back, one comes to the front, and they try to force you off the road. This happened to Veja. All these kind of things we've been talking about this year. Amazing movies. I told you that if you take Zimbabwe and you are a script writer, you take it to a director and said, I've got a script. They'll tell you to take away your script. Your movie is too nice. It's unbelievable. And people won't believe it. This is what is happening in Zimbabwe. Now we've got another general who has escaped an assassination attempt on Thursday last week, Rugeje. This is one of the guys who planned the coup, one of the top guys who planned the coup in Zimbabwe when Mnangagwa came in. So I think that is, for now, let's leave it there. Let's see what happens. Who is going next? And how are these guys going to react? Are they just going to sit and be taken out like sitting ducks? Is that what is going to happen? Or someone is going to react? What is going to be the reaction? You remember what I said when Mnangagwa's helicopter crashed, that the next move is going to be made by Mnangagwa. What is Mnangagwa's next move now that the two sides are openly fighting leading up to the ZANU-PF annual People's Conference in Bulawayo in October? What is going to happen next? This is very interesting. And as I tell you here, and every week I say this, nothing is going to happen in private. Everything is going to happen in front of your eyes. So the next things that are going to happen in front of your eyes. Then the next phase is the talking phase. You're going to see one person on the left accusing one person on the right in public. And it was going to be on ZBC, it's going to be on Sunday Mail. When you get to that stage, you are reaching the final stages. So we haven't reached that stage yet, where each side is openly accusing the other. And that time is coming. And when it comes, you're going to understand all about it. Now, I've got a few more stories. Then tonight, I'll give you the rest of the stories. Let's go to the National Railways of Zimbabwe. So the National Railways of Zimbabwe is in a crisis. Currently, the Mutapa Fund has taken over the NRZ, and they are looking for a loan of 314 million from Afrexim Bank, and they want to revive NRZ. So that money is very little, it's not enough, but let me explain to you the reason. Currently, the NRZ has got 73 mainline locomotives and 68 shunting locomotives. These are all over 30 years old, between 30 years and 48 years old, with a lifespan of normally 25 years old. These are all from the Rhodesian era or from the early 80s, and only 14 of them are operational, the mainline and 17 shunting locomotives. What this means is that in Zimbabwe, there is no rail. However, rail is extremely important. At the height of rail, they were transporting 12 million tons across Zimbabwe using rail. Currently, we're at 2.3 million tons. And rail is critical because if you want to move things, big things quickly, And if you want commerce to work, you have to use rail. It reduces damage on the roads. It also reduces speed of movement, time between movement. So Bulawayo to Harare, Bulawayo to Victoria Falls, Bulawayo to Mutare, those distances are taking hours and hours. People waiting. There is no schedule on the road. So people are moving randomly. There is no schedule. And commerce does not improve. So if you don't have rail to Victoria Falls, the hotels don't fill up. If you don't have rail to Kariba, the hotels don't fill up. Tourists don't come because they don't know what to plan. So rail is big. And currently Mutapa is seeking that loan of 314 million. And they're saying that this loan is going to be underwritten by the customers. So there is nothing that is going to be paid off by the government of Zimbabwe. I don't think this is the approach. And I think the approach which they should take is what I've been describing here. High-speed rail, standard gauge rail. See the example of Tanzania. Go to the Chinese and get 50 billion and put a new rail system across Zimbabwe, high-speed rail. The country will do very, very well, but they will never give them money because they're failing to pay off the loan at Hwange. So right now, Mnangagwa is failed to pay off the loan at Hwange, and the Chinese don't want to talk to you after that debacle. So interesting story on rail, my favorite topic. And as I said, 2025, that's all we'll be doing. We'll be talking about rail. We'll be talking about internet, high-speed internet in the rural areas through Starlink. Then I want to go to Zambia. Zambia is exciting and interesting. So what's happening in Zambia is the police have gone to the house of former President Edgar Lungu on Thursday and surrounded the house. So the police are saying they did not go there to arrest him. They were performing an investigation of some sort. And the PF party of Edgar Lungu then sent out a Facebook message saying that police have come to arrest Edgar Lungu. And the president of Zambia has said, this is not true. He's got no plans to arrest Lungu. And the administrators of the Facebook group of PF first arrest for distributing lies. So what is going to happen now is there's obviously a big problem. Lungu wants to come back into politics, and this is not allowed in Zambia. I don't think you can do that. You can do what Lungu is trying to do. He's basically trying to disrupt the programs of President Hakainde Hichilema. As I said, the flats of Esther Lungu were taken. 16 of them, they were seized by the Anti-Corruption Commission of Zambia. And that is a court in Zambia has declared that this is process of corruption, and there's massive instability brewing over this issue. Edgar Lungu becoming a disrupting force in Zambia. And still staying in Zambia, there is a massive outbreak of STIs in Zambia. So I want to just warn the guys who go to Zambia, but don't do it. It's dangerous what's happening over there. A recent research has found out that 117 out of 405 women who were tested in Ndola were found to have one form of STI or the other. So this is a program that is being carried out in conjunction with the USAID. And so massive problem here. This test is going to be going on, or research is going to be going on until June 2026. And it has revealed that there are some serious STIs in Zambia. 117 out of 450 people have these STIs, and they are people without HIV. So you normally would expect this to be among people with HIV already, but this is among ordinary, normal people who are not normal people, ordinary people who are just on the street. So crazy stuff in Zambia taking place, and you need to just watch out if you're that kind of guy. Then we go to South Africa. Interesting story in South Africa. There is a guy in South Africa who is very popular, and I'm going to show you his picture. So this is one of the most popular guys in South Africa. He's called Nota Baloyi. Nota Baloyi is right now trending in South Africa because a young woman an actress, has opened a charge against him at the Douglas police station. She is a former child star and an actress in some soapies at Scandal and ETV. And she has said Nutabaloi violated her. And he has gone to the newspapers, spoke to the Sunday World newspaper and said he did not do such a thing. In fact, they had a love relationship since way back. You know that Nota was married to Berita, Berita, the young woman from Zimbabwe. So he is denying all allegations and saying this woman is lying about him violating her, and she was actually in a love relationship with him. She has been asked by the newspaper if such a thing happened, if she opened a police case, and she's now denying it. However, the police have confirmed that she opened a police case and that she made those allegations. However, she has somehow changed her mind. So you can go and check out that story in the Sunday World newspaper. Very, very interesting. And then still staying in South Africa, the National Youth Development Agency is seeking to fill two positions. That is Chief Executive Officer and Chief Financial Officer for 5-year contracts. So the National Youth Development Agency is one of the top bodies here for youth promotion and for entrepreneurship in South Africa. So if you are qualified and a South African, then you can go over there and get that position. Now I want to go to my last story, which is in the Sunday Mail newspaper. And this is to do with passports. So the Zimbabwe government is going to be opening e-passport offices in the UK, the USA, and Zambia. So this is going to be happening. Let's see what the story says here. You can go check out the story in the Sunday Mail newspaper and say the e-passport office in Johannesburg Consulate commenced processing e-passport on June 18, 2024. As of September 2024, a total of almost 7,000 passports had been issued. The current cost of a passport in South Africa is 5,000 rands. So they're opening a similar office, and this office is going to be offices that are going to be in the United Kingdom, in Zambia, and in the USA to facilitate easy access to essential civic documents for citizens living outside the country. That is your birth certificates, your passports. So if you live in those countries, you're going to be getting this, and that is Registrar General, Mr. Henry Machiri, told the Sunday Mail this. You know, the Registrar General's office in Harare is the center of corruption. If you go over there, the guys just stand in the corridors doing corrupt activities. So Henry Machiri, Bataivan, Manyanya, corruption. So make sure that people don't do what they're doing. You saw that last week, the cleaners were helping people to fill up forms to corruptly get passports. So the Zimbabwe passport now a piece of paper that is not respected anyway because of the behavior of the people in the passport office in Zimbabwe. The actual information that is in the population register of Zimbabwe is a mess. And I hope that they fix this. There's a system currently being operated or being sorted out to address those issues. Because you cannot rely on anything that is on that population register of Zimbabwe. Similarly, on the voters' roll, these are the issues that we are facing in Zimbabwe. And let's hope that this is addressed. And I want to see if there's any other newspaper that is published today, any of the Zimbabwe newspapers. If they've not done so, I'm going to give you these newspapers later on tonight when I come back. There's always some stuff that I want to share with you regarding the news on a Sunday. So let's see if Sunday News has published anything of interest. So in the Sunday News newspaper, there is the same stories that I've just given you now. Mushavanu lying that there is going to be stability of the ZIG. Mushavanu is going to get fired very soon. You're going to see it. This is the one man that is going to get fired. He's failed to transform the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. Before Mnangagwa goes, Mushavanu is going to go. That man does not know central banking. What we need in Zimbabwe is a total overhaul of the system. And the guys that Mnangagwa is putting, they currently know nothing about central banking. I will make a better Reserve Bank governor than Mishayaman. That guy knows nothing about central banking. That is what it's all about. So I think we've covered everything. There's nothing here else that I want to cover. Let me look at the comments, then we shut this down. Koma Spencer, morning, Gambakwe, back to the future. Break God's principles at your own risk. Guys, can you see how I used to look that time? I was like fat, like my cheeks were big and I had a big beard. This is me. This is crazy stuff. And this is like unbelievable. I did not know anything about health this time. I did not know anything about Mve. I did not know anything about how to not eat all the time. I was just going through life like that. And I was heavy breathing. I was listening to myself. And every time I was talking, I was heavy breathing. No aerobics when working out. That was crazy. Yeah, so now I can tell you a thing or two about life. Then let's go to Mukoma Divine. Good morning. I'm happy to by the plans you have to increase coverage into rural areas. I pray this becomes a success. Imagine I used to rely on ZBC for news. Mukoma, let me explain to you what is the problem. There are places in Zimbabwe where there's no TV, no radio, no signal. Those people have got no connection to the world. There's someone who lives out behind a mountain who has never gone behind that other mountain, especially in areas like Gokwe. This is crazy. And the plans that we have, and we're going to make this happen. The next government that is going to come in place, they are going to do this. We want a rail that goes from Harare to Gokwe. That rail must make Gokwe one of the most developed places on earth. They need to go to Victoria Falls. The plan came from one of our brothers here. You can do a shortcut from Harare to Gokwe through Anakadoma, and then you go all the way to Vic Falls, and then you put another rail line to Bulawayo. Put a hub at Gweru. You can have a big capital city there. Then you have on the Zambezi another rail all the way from Victoria Falls to Kariba. It already exists. What is missing is Mnangagwa to make a proper plan. And then you take it away from NRZ. You put this as a separate company for high-speed rail. And this is something that will develop our country. Our country will be totally transformed. So believe me, if we know none of the people want to do it, we'll do it ourselves. High-speed rail is a priority. And then my general, my generals, yes, my general, and when I tell them here that some of them think they're untouchable, but every week something's going to happen. We're going to be mourning a general very soon. At Heroes Acre, there is no month that is going to pass without another general dropping. So you're going to see in October, one general is going to drop, and we're going to go back to the National Heroes Acre. And that is on top of the trending world news. Something is about to happen, something very, very big, unbelievable. There is a video that is leaked in Hollywood today, and it features one of the most prominent people on earth. You're going to see it. And you're going to find out about it between today and tomorrow. You're going to see the actual video circulating. Then Mkoma General said, my generals are a plan as soon as possible to Toranyika. I don't think my generals are capable. There is only one person that can make that call. And when that move starts, it can be stopped. The repercussions of that move are massive. So what is going to happen is going to start with the talking. So you're going to see talking and accusations in public. Then you see that is happening. And then before anything else happens, Chiwenga will leave the position of vice president. So the next thing that you must watch, there is no way that Chiwenga can become a president of Zimbabwe before he leaves the position of vice president. He has to be forced to get out from under ED. I've said this in the past. And these are not secret things that I'm talking. They are going to happen in front of your eyes. You will see two centers of power developing, and each person will take care of their own security. There is a security issue right now, and that security issue is not a joke. It's a serious, serious matter, and it has to be dealt with. And then we say national railways is to improve and use electricity, diesel, fuel locomotives so that they'll be fast. Rail is my passion. Let's have a chat very soon. We're going to open a group for rail. I believe that rail needs to be properly researched holistically in Zimbabwe. You need to look at rail as the next model. So I know that he's an economist. He is able to talk about what's wrong. But to fix it, you need a different kind of thinking. So the things that we're talking about here, Jana Zig and all that, those are lower time frame issues. Rail is a high time frame issue. You're talking of 40, 50, 60 years planning. If you do rail right for 5 years, you construct rail around Zimbabwe, for the next 50 years, Zimbabwe will become the most developed country in the world. I'm talking about the world because Zimbabwe has got the highest density of minerals, and it's very small. Geographically, Zimbabwe is shaped in a way that no other country is shaped. 2 hours from every location from Gweru, if you put a high-speed rail. That means people will be able to rapidly move around. And if a tourist was to come to Zimbabwe, the value that they will get in Zimbabwe will be higher than any other place. And then, as Steve Harvey says, if the Zimbabwe government was to build hotels all over the world, the country, then it would be easier to move. Do you know how many game parks are around Kariba? Like around Kariba, how many big game parks are there? You'll be able to move around and go to this game park and use a train to go through those game parks. So you can put hotels then in the game parks, and your train will then pass through those areas. Your tourists will come and you have money all over the country. Then you connect fiber on those rail links, road networks. It's amazing what you can do. And Anamnanga will never do it because their vision is so small. You need a big vision for Zimbabwe, and the country will do very, very well. Then that's the last comment I'm reading. Saka Murukuti General, one of Wakumbo poison here. No, General must accept that before you move to a higher position, you must leave your current position. And that is, it happens everywhere. So there's no way you can move to a higher position while you're still in a normal position. You have to move to a new position. So the fight between ED and Chiwenga must be escalated. That's what you need to do. If you want this thing to stop, you need to take it to the next level. So that is it. And then Pretty says, how do I get Move? You can WhatsApp me and I'll connect you with the supplier. In the United States, I think it's about $55. Then you get it delivered to your door as a test. Right, I think we've covered everything. Let's recap what we've said here before I go. So we've said on top of the recent assassination attempt on Comrade Bombshell, where 10 men attacked his vehicle and he had to escape. Last week on Thursday, the vehicle of General Engelbert Rugeje, one of the most qualified generals with an MBA from Harvard, and he was a former chief of staff of the Zimbabwe National Army, has escaped an assassination attempt when his vehicle wheel came off while he was driving. Inexplicably, this has never happened before, that you are driving and the wheel just comes out. So it is said that this is an attempted assassination, as the death of the generals who were involved in the coup continues. Right now, we're almost at 60 generals dead since 2017. And my sources say there is a plan to replace General Chiwenga with Mebo Chinomona here as the new vice president of Zimbabwe. If, as planned, 7 out of the 8 generals who were planned to be killed or who were planned to be assassinated have already been killed, and 1 remains. So I do not know which one is remaining, but the plan is to replace General Chiwenga with Mebo Chinomona. That is the plan that I've had. So that is what we have for today. I'll be back here at 10 minutes past 9. Every day I come here to give you updates in the evening for clarity. So the clarity updates in the evenings. And my new name, Mr. Parabolic. That is my new name, Mr. Parabolic Zig. Mr. Wick Zig knows me as Mr. Parabolic. So Zig needs to drink Move, otherwise it's going down. Chizig is not money, it's fake money. And we've predicted here that Zig is going to be the end of Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is going to go within the next 90 days. Everything is going to go down very, very soon. You're going to see it. So signing out, and obviously I know that Mr. Wikizig is going to come on Wednesday and give excuses, but we're watching. Massive day coming on Wednesday when we see Mnangagwa talking for the first time at the opening of the 10th Parliament of Zimbabwe. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and a good day.